All right, we're still slogging through this Trimet board meeting. Like I say, we need to listen to this stuff, as painful as it is, because this is where you find out what's going on with the executive culture, and it's important to hear this. So that's why I'm slogging myself through this after 2 years of not paying any attention. But no more of that. I'm going to pay attention to these board meetings from now on.
Thank you so much. The second resolution this morning is Resolution 17-03-23, authorizing a modification to the contract with Howard S. Wright for Construction Manager General Contractor Services for the Washington Park Station Improvement Project. Mr. General Manager, your comments, please.
Yes, Mr. Board.
I covered a lot of this stuff on the blog in separate posts if you want to go. I covered the budget in much more detail on the blog, and I covered these individual items also on the blog, where I posted the actual links to these resolutions and made my comments. But here we're going to have McFarland's going to go over the stuff I've already looked at and see if he can add anything different to it.
Vice President, members of the board, you've seen this contract actually mold through the process of approving a CMGC approach to this and then actually awarding the contract to Howard S. Wright with a relatively modest pre-construction budget of $19,000 some odd dollars. What this action does is actually add the construction portion of that of the project to the contract. That is in the amount of $1,465,004, and that includes construction services as well as the construction fee for Howard S. Wright.
A quick $1,400,000, not so bad for Howard S. Wright, whoever the hell he is. Now, who knows? Does Washington Park actually need this? I've always wondered, these Trimet capital projects, we don't really know if they're necessary or not. Once again, I bring up the point that everything we're told is already decided on. The staff of Trimet makes all the decisions regarding what's going to happen, who's going to get the contract, how much they're going to spend, and what projects will be completed. The public gets no say in this. So is it even necessary? According to the Trimet staff, it is.
Again, this was a competitive proposal, and I would just note that what we will be doing down at the Washington Park Station is actually doing a modest renovation where, for example, where there is drywall, there will be either tile or additional stone, more resilient surfaces. You'll see some improvements against the walls that face the curved walls that face the platform.
See, they're remodeling that. He's remodeling the station. I mean, why?
A very thorough cleaning and repainting. So it really is a touch-up necessary after, given that was the first project I worked on, 20-some years of use now. And I think it's a really important statement because it's an important station, particularly as we approach the summer season and we know there'll be big crowds at the zoo and the Forestry Center and the Children's Museum and all the other attractions of Washington Park. And again, we are working with our partners at Washington Park and all of this, but again, it's our responsibility, I think, to keep this in good shape. So.
Okay, now it's the big tourist stop. Okay, so I don't know. He says it's been 20 years since they've done anything there. I suppose in 20 years something. I haven't been into that. Well, I haven't even been there in quite a few years. And last time I went through there, I didn't notice anything particularly off.
Again, recommend your approval, and I'm personally looking forward to seeing these improvements in place.
Okay. Questions of the General Manager? Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Not even one question, not even nothing. It's blank. I love the sock puppets.
Resolution 17-03-23.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Our next resolution of business that comes before us is Resolution 17-03-24, authorizing a contract with Bridge Data Solutions Incorporated for IT hardware, software, and related services. Mr. General Manager?
Mr. Vice President, members of the board, this is a procurement which is somewhat different than what we've done before. It's an attempt to buy in bulk, if you will, IT services and equipment. In the past, we've gone piece by piece for various procurements. Recommendation came from our procurement staff. We could do better if we lumped it all together into a multi-year contract with one provider and look for gross discount and the larger amount that we would be offering the marketplace. And so based on that philosophy, did do a procurement. It was a request for proposals, so a number of different factors were evaluated associated with this proposal. We ended up with 3 finalists that were where we actually opened the envelope, got the price, and compared it to the qualifications and other points. And as you see in the second page of your recommendation memo, is that Bridge Data was recommended as the most responsive bidder. I would also note that they were not the lowest cost bidder, but responsive and qualifications, Portland presence, all those things were very important ultimately to securing what the evaluation team thought was the best outcome. So with that, I do recommend your approval.
Pure pork. I mean, is this the one where they were asking for services to help buy? You know, one of those resolutions was they were buying somebody to help them buy equipment, because apparently the Trimet people don't have enough expertise to buy the. I don't know. Is this? I can't remember off the top of my head whether this is it or whether it's something else. But pure pork is pure pork. Just listen to it.
We do have Les Spittler and others from IT here if there are any questions on this procurement.
Directors, any questions at this time? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 17?
There you go. Resolution number 2. They're all like, they don't have any questions. They wouldn't know what to ask. They don't know anything about it.
17-03-24.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Our next item of business is Resolution 17-03-25. Board of Directors, acting in its capacity as the Trimet Contract Review Board, authorizing a special procurement exemption for professional learning and development services. Mr. General Manager, your...
This is definitely a good one coming up. I remember this one. I read all of these earlier before the meeting, and this is going to be good. Let's hear what he says here.
Comments.
Mr. Board Vice President, members of the board, this is also a slightly different way of procuring some services, but related to an enhanced learning and development program that we are putting in place for our employees. And by the way, this is really coming out of some of our employee surveys and other things about what really will make you a satisfied Trimet employee, and training and development opportunities is really very high on the list for our employees. So what we have done is really created a program and have branded a program that will offer a series of courses and leadership work, lots of using Excel, everything from using computer programs to leadership development, a package of programs that will be available over time in a series of classes for our employees, and hopefully improving their performance and their job satisfaction.
Now, if I remember correctly, he's not talking about union employees. This was some kind of leadership skills thing. I'm not going to go back and look it up, but I have it on the web. I have it on my blog, the exact wording of these resolutions. I believe this was a leadership skills building thing. Pure pork.
What we have opted and are recommending in this resolution is that we procure that in a different way, which is rather than have an RFP that is open for a short period of time where there are winners that are declared at a period of time, that we actually open the procurement for a period as recommended in this resolution for 2 years. And as we have the need for more and different services, we have the ability to go to the marketplace and secure those. So we would be open to proposals over an extended period of time.
Okay, I'm remembering now. Yeah, he wants he wants to just go ahead and get a whole bunch of money for things that he thinks he'll need in the future. In other words, he wants to pad his account. He's padding his discretionary account for the next 2 years. He doesn't want to have to go and ask permission anymore. I mean, it's pure Trimet McFarland. Give us all this money and I'll deal with it later, and I'll have all this money to play with and call it training. I mean, of course they'll approve it, but I mean,
So that's really the exception to normal procurement practice that we're asking for your approval of. And I know there are people in the audience who know a lot more about this than I do, so I'd be happy to volley any questions you might have to them, or try myself even. Thank you.
I have a question. Are there other services that we procure in the same fashion?
I don't believe in the same fashion. I'll look at less. We do other, if you will, task order contracts that are somewhat familiar, but they're not somewhat similar, but they're not quite the same, because we're looking at, for example, independent contractors who may have a particular valuable course that we want to secure. Les?
the newbie director actually had a question. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. We haven't replicated this model in other ways that's specific to what we're trying to accomplish here.
Well, I can see right through this. I don't know if these directors can. They want their money up front. Give us a bunch of money that we can allocate, and we'll use it when we see fit. I mean, it's not acceptable to do business like this, but you know they're going to get it.
Okay. Director.
Do we?
Go.
No, no thanks.
Okay. Hearing no other questions, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion further? All in favor?
Yeah, let me just, second thoughts. Is there,
All right, Esmond. I like to see when at least the directors think. I know they're going to approve it. It's all sock puppet, but you know, at least ask some questions, okay? Let's see what he comes up with here.
any way, maybe as you move along with this, that it could include possibly union employees who want to advance themselves,
Yes.
or some training and...
Yes.
All right, Esmond. All right. Not bad. Let's see the answer to that one.
computer skills, or...
And Angela, union employees are eligible for this program, right? Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
And we would expect that we will be promoting the
Right.
program's availability as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When I read the resolution, it didn't make any reference to union employees. Yeah, I wonder.
All right, all those in
Yeah,
favor?
good.
Aye. All opposed? Motion so carries.
There you go. Trimet Board of Sock Puppets, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. Motion carries, motion carries, motion carries. He didn't put the price on. He didn't say the price out loud. I don't know why he didn't say that. He usually says how much it is, but he didn't on this one.
Thank you very much. Our next item of business is Resolution 17-03-26, which is the purchase of 2 diesel multiple unit rail cars, from All Earth Rail LLC.
All right, gotta plow money into the Trimet white elephant that sucks all the money down that could be used for services that people actually need. It's an abomination, and it's a good example of why you shouldn't support these projects, because they're going to run this project no matter what, even though it loses money and takes away from other services. They put it in. That's why they love rail, by the way, because once the rail's in, you can't take it out. That's one of the reasons why these governments like rail, because it gives them a program that can't be stopped once it's in. You know, buses, you can reroute them, but the rail, once it's in, it's like a guaranteed cash flow forever for these bureaucrats. And the white elephant is an example of a failed capital project.
Mr. General Manager.
Mr. Vice President, members of the board, you've seen this question come before you before for a series of reasons largely related to the aging of our existing DMU fleet and, frankly, service so that we can make sure that we provide high-quality service as we bring those vehicles in for longer-term rehabilitation work. We believe we need 2 additional cars in our fleet on the west. I'm looking for a cost-effective way of doing that. Your previous approval allowed us to submit a bid to Dallas Area Rapid Transit, which was selling some diesel multiple units, and you authorized for us a $1.5 million price tag for those 2 cars. We were not successful in that bid. However, we were very successful in negotiating a side deal, if you will, with All Earth, who actually secured all 12 of those cars. Clearly what DART wanted to do was rid themselves of the whole fleet and the spare parts. I don't blame them for that in terms of sort of simplifying their fleet management issues. But that allows us then to buy 2 of the 12 that All Earth had purchased from DART. So they're the same vehicles we were looking at earlier. The good news is it's actually less money. So $1 million for both cars with $100,000 for shipping. So again, just to note, as we have mentioned to you previously, there will need to be a series of modifications to those cars, including the consistency with our PTC system, signaling system, as well as some other accommodations to make them similar to our other vehicles. So with that, again, this is an issue you've seen before, but we would recommend your approval of this revised approach toward procurement.
Any questions from any of the directors? Director Prosser?
No.
I just want to clarify, when you say the purchase price is $100,000 for both cars, the other way to say that would be $500,000 for each car? Or is it? Or
No, so it's $1 million
for
both cars and $100,000 for shipping.
Yeah, no, but I just want to make sure that it is for the 2 cars.
Yes.
And not a piece.
Yes, the total contract value is $1.1 million.
Any other?
Yeah, get them now while they're hot. They're on sale. 2 for $1 million and only $100,000 shipping. It's a sale once in a lifetime.
There. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the resolution 17-03-26?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion so carries. Thank you very much. At this time, I know we are pressed with our agenda time and as well as our briefing, but
I hope you appreciated the illustration of the sock puppet nature of the sock puppets as we just saw it played out. McFarland gives them a resolution, they ask a question or 2 maybe, but not really, and it carries unanimously. And every resolution that's put before them is exactly the same. And as I go through these meetings from now on, you'll see it's always the same thing. That's why they're sock puppets, because there's no real, they're just sitting there to facilitate McFarland. Their job is to support McFarland.
we need to declare a 5-minute recess at this time. Our board members would like to have a few minutes to walk their legs around. Thank you. We'll be back in 5 minutes. So we will now move on to our ordinance for service change. Now we'll look to Trimet General Counsel Shelley Devine for the first reading of this ordinance. Shelley?
Thank you, Mr. Board Vice President. Ordinance number 345 of the...
Okay, so the ordinance is the Trimet Code. These are the Trimet laws. These are the so-called operating rules. The Trimet Board approves the Trimet laws. So let's hear what she's got up her sleeve.
Tri-County Metropolitan Transportation District of Oregon, adopting service changes, updating route designations, and amending Trimet Code Chapter 22. This is the first reading and the public hearing.
Thank you, Shelley. Mr. General Manager, I understand there is a presentation regarding the service changes.
Yes, Mr. Vice President, members of the board, I'm pleased to introduce Alan Lado and Carrie Ayers-Palaniuk, who you've seen before on these topics, and again, you've been briefed on both the service equity issue, or the equity analysis associated with these service changes, as well as the service changes themselves. But to do a quick review for you at this point in time, I'd ask Alan and Carrie to spend 5 minutes reviewing the recommendations for service changes for this year, this fiscal year, included in the budget that you have advanced to TSCC.
Thanks, Neil. Mr. Vice President, members of the board. So as Neil mentioned, we have briefed you pretty extensively on this. Though there were pretty significant changes from the original proposal and the end of last year to the updated proposal, there haven't been any really significant changes in the last month. So this is just a brief reminder. Again, in the context of our annual service plan, has to pay attention to the key considerations that the board directed us in terms of looking at demand, looking at growth, looking at connections, looking at productivity, and looking at equity, and always paying attention to safety, as well as our ability to roll out service in terms of bus availability, operations, and budget. And this has all been in context of our shared vision that we develop with the communities, the service enhancement plan, which is the long-range vision, and this annual service plan is each stepwise improvement each year to try and move towards that, which you heard a lot of support for doing even more than we're able to do this year to move towards those visions as quickly as possible during the public comment period this morning. I'm going to hand it over to Carrie to talk about the rest of this.
So we did the first draft and we solicited comments. We got about 700 comments back for our first proposal. Then we did a second draft, our updated proposal, and we have gotten about 400 additional comments from that. Just a quick picture of the service improvements that we've made to date. The dark lines, and then the orange lines are the ones that we are proposing in this FY18 service proposal. The additional trips, we're going to have capacity improvements on 5 lines, weekday, midday trips, additional trips on 3 bus lines, and on 2 bus lines we're going to add weekend service. We are having route changes to 4 different bus lines, and we're adding 3 new bus lines. The route changes, we're just going to go over those briefly. The line 6 is going to serve Hayden Meadows Drive. That will be an addition to the line 6. The line 152 is going to have a small route change where it will no longer serve the Milwaukee Marketplace, the Milwaukee Center, or portions of Lake Road. It will instead go on International Way and then onto Harmony Road to better serve the businesses along International Way and Clackamas Community College. That will be additional frequency on the line 152. The line 87, which we've heard sucks.
Good for her. She said it right out loud. Yeah, I'd like to see that. She acknowledged the truth there. She actually said it right out loud. 87, it's terrible. It's completely unreliable. It's one of the least reliable routes I've ever seen.
Are hoping to improve that somewhat.
Is that a professional term?
I think it is. We're hoping to improve that somewhat. We are going to break that line into 2 at Southeast 182nd and Powell. We are going to add more service between Rockwood and 182nd and Powell. Additionally, we will add weekend service to the line 87. The line 81 is another route change. Currently it travels between Gresham Transit Center and Glen Auto Park. We are going to change that so that it travels more directly to Mount Hood Community College along Division, and then it will continue north through Troutdale into the Troutdale Reynolds Industrial Park. FedEx is currently there. Amazon is soon to be there. Same frequency as current. The 3 new bus lines, one in Beaverton between Beaverton Transit Center and Tiger Transit Center via Denny Road, Shoals, Washington Square Transit Center, and Hall. A new line on 162nd between Airport Way, down 162nd, hopefully to Powell, and then up 148th to the Fred Meyer there. And then the last new line is in Gresham. It will take over the portion of the line 87 south of Powell, between 182nd and Powell, into the Gresham Transit Center, continuing on Powell to Kane to First Avenue to serve the Winco and Fred Meyer in Gresham. Just a quick update on the equity that you heard from Jake last time.
On the 162nd, I just want to let you know that's where I used to work for many years on Airport Way. There's many restrooms there for the operators.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we looked at.
Real free.
Good. All right. Thank you. Just the equity analysis, a benefit to a greater share of the region's minority and low-income populations stand to benefit as compared to non-minority and higher-income populations. Found no disproportionate or adverse effects from the one major service reduction on the line 152. Proposed changes do reduce access to some jobs in North Clackamas County while reducing travel time and increasing frequency to others. And this proposal creates new access to nearly 40,000 low and medium wage jobs and improves access to over 230,000 low and medium wage jobs. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the comments. Round one feedback was strongly positive. The most negative comments that we did receive were from the 152. Most people were talking about the Milwaukee Senior Center, and that it wasn't really writers, but it was people who felt like Trimet needed to serve the Senior Center. The comments that we received from this second round, there were about 400. They were strongly positive as well. A lot of really great comments about 162nd and the
One thing TriMet needs to do is publish the comments, okay, so we can see the comments, okay? They saw the comments. Why doesn't the public get to see? Are they does anybody know if they're published somewhere? I haven't seen them. I mean, if you're going to take public comment, the comments should be available publicly. So not, we don't. All we can do is take their word for this. I'd like to read the comments myself.
Denny Hall line, and just one. Well, they all weren't great comments. Most of them were, but the one that I liked best was awesome. Just when you think it's perfect, you go and make it better. So I just found that a nice one to end with. So our next steps are to come back to the board next month for the second reading, and then if approved, these changes would happen in September of this year and March of next year.
Okay, so she cherry-picked one comment to support her proposal and put it out there. That's all very nice, but it's meaningless, other than there was one person who was a shill. Maybe they're for real. I don't know. Those changes sound... I don't know. I don't know enough about that area to make a judgment on that, and we don't get to see the actual comments, so we have to take their word for it. And, I mean, they're adding service, right? They're not taking away any service, so if they're adding service, that can't be bad, right?